Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. We are doing another car talk. I had such a good response from the ones that I did previously that I thought we may incorporate this, especially since I do a lot of driving for my work. When I do go out to do my work, a lot of times I work from home, and 2 weeks out of the month, and then 2 weeks I have to travel locally in central Alabama or the southeast, and so I get some window time, is what we call it. But have you ever been hungry? I know that's kind of an odd question that we're going to just kind of look at. Mind you, these videos that I am loading right now using Apple's software, I don't think they will go longer than 13 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep this at 13 minutes. We're going to do it in a podcast format again because, like I said, I had such a good response from that. What would you do if you're hungry? What would you do if your kids were hungry? Or your grandkids? What would you do? I know what I would do. I'd kill to feed them. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. Now, this is some of the worst case stuff that we are talking about. But what would you do if you were hungry? Think of the worst possible stuff, and that's what I would do. Now, having said all of that, going into a dark place, let's step back and take all the dark stuff and put it up on a shelf, stick it back in the corner for now. What say we do what we can now to mitigate the risk or the chances of anybody ever being hungry in your household for a long time? Damn zombies. Not talking about that. What about every time you went to the grocery store, you buy 4 extra cans? That's $4. Can of beans, can of tomatoes, potatoes, whatever you like, corn, can of meat. It's a little more expensive, but you get the idea. We're setting everything up in the little house, my office, to be able to do copy canning and cycle through and in can rotation and canned food storage and then long-term food storage as well. You can absolutely do 2 years of canned food storage easily and cheaply. Please don't go out and waste your damn money on Legacy and Wise and Augustin and all that other stuff. The stuff that's super high in carbs, full of preservatives and salt and potassium. It's just not healthy, and it's minimal. It's a starvation diet. It's minimal calories. Some of the stuff you're looking at when you're doing that, the long-term food storage is 600 to 800 calories total for a day. MREs, I know they are put together to accommodate a healthy adult person, highly active. Each MRE is 2,500 to 3,000 calories, and you get 3 of those a day. So you should be looking, the average person who leads a sedentary life and does small amounts of active work, labor, activity, a burst of energy, running for the elevator, something like that. 2,000 calories a day should do you. For me, that's pretty good. I'm on a kind of a funky diet. We'll talk about that later. Or a lifestyle, not a diet. And ideally, if you're in a stressful, dangerous change of state, a situation, something has happened, a disaster, something like that, your body is going to go in a sort of primal direction. You're going to start pumping and needing energy. So you would do well to plan for 3,000 calories a day. 3,000 calories a day. And that is not a fighting ration, let's call it that. That is not an MRE ration. That is just an emergency. Because a fighting ration and an MRE ration is considerably more. Again, you might, I ask some of your friends who have been on active duty and served recently overseas in the past 10 years, and ask them, and they tell you that they constantly eat when they can safely eat. But what would you do if you were hungry? Well, again, let's do what we can to not worry about that as much. Now, you can do the dried beans and the dried rice. That's fantastic. It's a lot of carbs and some protein, but a lot of carbs. But that's okay in stressful situations like that. It's better than nothing. Better than eating your dog. It is not a bad idea to set aside X amount of dried beans, dried rice, dried corn, whatever it is that you and your family like, to hydrate it, vacuum seal it, oxygen absorbers, whatever it is that you want to do to make sure that your food is there for you and yours. It is not a bad idea to do that. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. You just eat the food. That's why we're always going to store what we eat, and then we're going to eat what we store. That's kind of one of the little mantras that you people tell you when you do the prepping, copy canning. If you buy one, you buy four. That's what I tell my wife. She says, "Would you like anything from the store?" And I say, "Buy 4 cans of SpaghettiOs." Kids like SpaghettiOs. It's fine. I think I have a case or 2 of them. That's fine. Kids eat them. Cycle through them, rotate them, bring them through. What happens if something should happen? Well, then you have food set aside. The government is actually saying, FEMA, they've gone from their 3 days of food requirements or suggestions to 2 weeks, because they have said, guys, we're not going to get to you in 3 days. You kind of own your own. Screw FEMA. I don't need their help. I would much prefer to be on my own. I can take care of my own family and my own people, my own neighborhood. I can do that myself. And if I think this way, my neighbors think this way, and my other neighbor thinks this way, the one on either side, well, gosh, you have a system put in place with redundancies. And preppers, we're all about redundancies. These are the things that you do, the good things you put into place to build resilience and growth and support. I once went 3 days without eating. That's about the most I've gone. I took a vacation, took a week off. I know I do this weird stuff sometimes. This was years ago. I was in my late 20s. I took a week off work, and I wanted to see how long I could go without sleeping and how long I could go without eating. So I went 3 days without sleeping or eating, and it was terrible. And people say, well, all this. No, you can barely function. And at the end of the 3 days, I gorged and I slept for a day, and then I went back on a normal schedule, and then I went back to work. It is not good or easy to do that kind of stuff to your body. I certainly wouldn't do it now. I'm 50. Like I said, I was in my 20s when I did that kind of stuff. But it gave me a very intimate look at what I can do and can't do. And there's a lot I can do. I would not suggest any of you do that, but I would suggest skip a meal, see how you feel. They call those Snickers commercials where everybody changes and they get hangry. Don't do that for 3 days. And I know of people who've done it for much longer. It was almost like just a fasting thing. But set aside 4 cans every time you go to the grocery store. Set aside 4 cans, 4 bags of rice. That's $4. 4 bags of beans. That's $4. It will go a long way. Store what you like and use what you store. That way, you're never going to waste money. You're actually saving money. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for coming along on the ride. In just a second, you're going to see a picture of my ugly mug pop over here on this side of the screen. On the opposite side, there's going to be some videos if we are indeed your brand of wacky. As always, guys, take care of your people.